Have you ever thought that God might not want to fulfill your desires? Or would you like Him to do it? Is really God diametrically opposed to what you desire? There's a wonderful verse in the Psalms 37, verse 4, which speaks and addresses directly this issue. We read there the following: "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Delight yourself in the Lord. In other words, enjoy God. Make Him the priority of your life. When you want to make a decision and a choice in your life in regards to any area like marriage, your family, your children, your business, relating to other people, make sure you know how the Lord wants you to act in that situation, how the Lord wants you to talk in that situation, and then apply it in your own life. Do what He's asking you to do. Rejoice in the words that He speaks. Rejoice in the commands that He gives you. Rejoice in the instruction and the guidance that He gives you. Rejoice in what He wants in and out of your life. And when you do that, He says here, and He will give you the desires of your heart. This very much reminds me of myself, really. I have been blessed with children, and Liliana and I rejoice in them, and I can see that each one of them have their own desires, their own inclinations, and as a parent, my job is not to subdue their desires, but to see which are the desires that they have. Actually, in Proverbs it says, instruct the child in the way he should go, and even when he's old, he will not depart from it. In original, really, it means create an environment conducive to the inclinations, to the desires and longings of your child, and then grow that. Teach them in that way. In other words, give your children good desires to them, inclinations that they have, capabilities, aptitudes, abilities, and particularly those that are leading towards good. You encourage them, you shape them and direct them in a good path. Of course, when they're negative ones, you don't give them to them. But then, when you do that, they're willing to do anything for you. But I usually say, you know, if you want this or if you want that, you got to do what I want first. That's exactly what God is doing here. Delight yourself in the Lord first. And then it says, He will give you the desires of your heart. So we can see that God wants us to make Him a priority first, to do what pleases Him first. And when you and I do what pleases Him, He's willing to give us what you and I desire within our own hearts. You know, what within our own deepest longings of our own heart. He is willing to give us that unto us. This word, the desires of your heart, really means your petitions, your requests, things that you're praying God to, maybe for a short or a long time. Regardless, God is going to answer your prayers. Deep within your own heart, what you long for from God, His embrace, His love, His acceptance, His blessing, His provision, everything that you and I long for from our Heavenly Daddy. Like a little child that desires their physical earthly daddy to provide, to protect, to, whenever there is a problem, fix the problem, whenever there is a desire, to fulfill that desire. So our Heavenly Daddy is there for us to help us out in every area of our lives. If you want to improve our marriage relationship, He's there to help us out. You prayed for it. God says, delight in me, in my word, and I will bless your marriage, in other words. Or if you want to do it with your children, you want your children and your relation with your children to be blessed. So He says, delight yourself in the Lord. Do it the way God teaches you in relationship to them. And then He will fulfill the desires of your heart. If you want to do it with finances, don't go the worldly way, the Babylonian system, so to say, where you borrow and become so much in debt that you are pressured and stressed out, and even your marriage suffers and your family and your health suffers because of it. That's not what God desires for you. He wants you to go God's way, trusting Him that He will supply and living within your own means. When you do it that way, then He will give you the desires of your heart. Or if it is in relationship to your health, it says, delight yourself in God. What does God say about health? Eat healthy food, drink sufficient water, rest, trust in Him, have confidence. Do not live in stressed out conditions continuously, but rely upon Him, rest upon Him, trust yourself, be confident, depend upon Him. He will be there tomorrow for you. He'll be there each moment of your life. Every day of your life, He will be there. Just look back. He's helped you so many times. He will not fail you now. He will be there for you as long as you and I delight and rejoice and enjoy in His Word and walk in His footsteps. He will fulfill the desires of our hearts. He will fulfill the desires of your heart as well as you walk in obedience to His Word and His will.